There's three things in this world that we're all guaranteed, no matter what economic background we come from. Public libraries, public education, and public parks. That's why I feel very passionately that all students should receive not only a public education, but a great public education.
I think the most unique thing about Central is a downtown high school that works. There are no downtown high schools in this country that are open enrollment, education comprehensive, and the largest high school in their state. It doesn't exist.
Big picture-wise, the foundation was founded because of the generosity of Central grads. They were giving money back to Central High School because they had success in their careers and they wanted to offer the same types of opportunities to Central students.
I was the PTA president that year in 1996, and talking to Doc Muller, the principal at the time, over a number of years he'd raised a lot of money from alumni, friends of Central. All that money was sitting in the Omaha public schools, and we were concerned that the money that was raised for Central might be allocated for something else.
I think primarily in the beginning for small projects and scholarships, scholarship money. And then it's evolved into a much more significant foundation now.
Central's very, very diverse. When you talk about 45% Caucasian, 25% African American, 25% Hispanic, you can't. Those kids come from everywhere.
And I think that's what makes us go. I think that's why people send their kids to Central. They want them to have a look at the real world, that not everybody's going to look like them. Not everybody's going to believe in the same things as they do.
When you look at student achievement data, typically you see differences when you break it down by socioeconomic status of students. Because achievement is so often tied to opportunity, it's referred to as an opportunity gap. You need to understand and recognize where they've come from and try to provide some of the experiences that they were not able to get prior to coming to school.
Whenever you can give an experiential learning opportunity, it's a big thing. Get kids out of a textbook, out of a classroom, and to relate what they're learning in those things to the real world. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and we've all had those in high school, we've all had those in college, where you have that one experience that really molds you, that changes you, that you never forget about. And what my hope would be, they would be in a position to give back to. And so, you know what, that scholarship, that grant really helped me do some great things, and I'm going to give back.
We have an entire spectrum, from the richest of the rich to some of the most challenged economically in this country. And that's what I think makes this place so unique. It is an anomaly. It's an outlier. And that's why it's a beacon for everything that's good in public education. Test. Good. I've got noise. Good evening and welcome to Omaha Central High School, home of the Eagle. The finest high school in the country, second to none. And tonight is a very, very special night because we get to honor some very, very important Eagles. You have made it to the wall, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to you. My name is Dr. Keith Bixby, and I am one of the retired principals of Omaha Central High School. I was also a teacher, a department head, a coach, an assistant principal, ending my career as principal. But the most important thing I think I've ever done in my life is to make sure that my 3 daughters got their education at this downtown high school, second to none. And tonight, I am very, 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 very honored to be your Master of Ceremonies in honoring our 10 newest inductees here in the 21st Hall of Fame Awards. So, to get started, I want to make sure that we get some thank yous and recognitions. And I also want to say thank you and hello to all of those people watching via the Eagle Broadcasting Network. We do live stream this across the world. And for those people who are also joining us on our special night, welcome. And we look forward to you enjoying tonight's events as much as those of us who are here. To start tonight, I would like again to congratulate and thank all of the honorees. I also want to recognize a number of people who have made tonight possible. And we're going to start with our Hall of Fame Selection Committee. This is a group of people who have come together a number of times, did a lot of reading of a lot of biographies, and had a lot of thoughtful discussion in the past year to come up with this outstanding class. And so those individuals, when I call your name, will you please be stand and recognized, and I would ask that you hold your applause until I get everybody named. We'll start with our Hall of Fame Chair, Dick Zachariah. Committee members Larry Alberts, Patricia Brown, Liz Cook, Henry Cortez, Michelle Keel, Molly McVeigh, Harold Farrow, Chuck Reed, who's up here with me. I don't want to lose Chuck. Chuck's got the plaques tonight. Chuck Reed, Dan Rock, and Joan Stanford. Big round of applause for these people. I would also like to thank and recognize the Central High School Alumni Association for their energy and effort in making this celebration possible. And a special thanks to the committee for putting on a wonderful event. I'd also like to recognize those individuals who've been involved. And again, if you would hold your applause. We'll start with Sandy Nathan, our president, Patricia Brown, Janine Mason, Chris Pellman, Katie Pellman, Cheryl and Gary Willis, and Terry Zachariah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much. Next, I would like to thank the Central High School Foundation for its support of Central High School. And that video doesn't tell the whole story. It does not show all the things the foundation does. It is truly an anchor, a bedrock that this 160-year-old institution has become solidly anchored to. And your support of that foundation, as far as I'm concerned, is probably one of the most important things you can do if you're an alumni, a parent, or a future alumni. It is critical. And I'd like to recognize those members, those board members who are in attendance tonight. Dr. Ed Bennett, Dr. Rusty Crossman, Dr. Christy Hayes, Marilee Miller, Harley Schrager, Executive Director Michelle Roberts, Events and Alumni Relations Manager Sydney Ohm, and Communications and Database Manager Josh Bussey. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all the foundation guys. And finally, we would not be complete if we did not recognize those who have come before. We have a number of Central High School Hall of Fame honorees from past years who are with us tonight. I want to make sure they get recognized because once an Eagle, always an Eagle. So those Hall of Fame honorees tonight in the audience include, and if you could stand and be recognized, Howard Chudikoff, Barbara Coffey, Barry Combs, Henry Cortez, Dr. Rusty Crossman, Joe DeSacco, Terry Foster, Sandy Friedman, Peggy Georgeson, John Goldner, Jerry Holberman, Mary Lee Miller, Dr. Patrick Salerno Sr., Harley Schrager, General Randolph Scott, and Red Thomas. Thank you for returning back to the nest, ladies and gentlemen. And now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce the current principal of Omaha Central High School, my friend and someone I admire and respect a great deal. And I also understand, he needs to understand I'm not taking those keys back. Dr. Ed Bennett.
Better be careful, Keith. You might see those keys. You never know. You never know. Well, thank you, Dr. Bixby. It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you here this evening and to be the 19th principal of this amazing institution, the Omaha Central High School. Did you know that since 1944, there have only been 7 central principals? 2 of them, besides me, are here this evening. When I introduce you, would you please stand? Of course, the 17th principal, Mr. Greg Himmel, and the 18th principal, Dr. Keith Bixby. Of course, we're missing Doc Muller this evening. As you know, Doc passed away recently, and please know, I know he's here with us this evening, and we're thinking of him. What a fantastic principal he was, and we all are living in his legacy. This year's Hall of Fame inductees are truly an esteemed group. The overarching theme of their accomplishments is clearly service, as these Eagles have served their families, their communities, their countries, and foreign nations in ways that are extraordinary and noteworthy. Through law, volunteering, engineering, publishing, acting, business, military service, medicine, community development, and activism, they have made a difference in the world in so many notable ways. So how does that impact Central High in 2019? Well, to you, this year's class of inductees, you have devoted your lives to serving others. I want you to know that we here at Central will continue to follow in your lead and follow in your footsteps, working at Central each day to develop our current Central Eagles into students who will serve just as you have when their time comes. Thank you for establishing that Eagle legacy of excellence that they will carry forward. They are already showing that they have the ability. Currently, Central High School remains the most distinguished, the most successful, the most diverse, and of course, the best high school in the state of Nebraska. We have, as of this morning, 2,672 Eagles, born in over 40 different countries, speaking over 85 different languages. 10 of those current Eagles and the finest Eagles are here with us as student ambassadors. So you'll see them coming up. Thank you. Love all of you 10 ambassadors. Central still has an unabashed appreciation for the 2 things that Central grads have always cherished: academic excellence and an appreciation of diversity in all of its forms. This year we have multiple National Merit Scholar semifinalists and commendation winners. One of only 3 IB programs in the state of Nebraska. Outstanding standardized test scores, a senior class garnering interest from the nation's finest colleges and universities, winning athletic teams, award-winning music ensembles, plays, and musicals, a love for the style book. Has anybody heard of the style book? Yes. It's still here. The 20th principal will have to get rid of it. If that's going to happen, it won't be me. This year we're going to have the 106th Road Show. We also have a dedicated and erudite faculty featuring many future Hall of Fame distinguished educator candidates and 7 members with doctorates. If there are any Central staff members in the crowd, could you please stand and be recognized at this time? I know there's some out there. Really take this out. And of course, an incredible foundation that works tirelessly to support our students and connect and honor our alumni to bring the past, present, and future together. Yes, Central is still Central, and a word to the wise is still sufficient. Our tradition of excellence and influence on the community, much like the passion of our proud alumni, continues to grow. So in closing, my warmest congratulations to our inductees and their families, and my thanks to all the other Central alums and supporters here this evening for all of you have done and continue to do for us such a tremendous service. We're very glad that you're here. Thank you. Dr. Bixby.
So at this time, we are ready to begin our induction ceremony. And the students that will bring up the inductee will do the introductions. So we will start with our first inductee, who is Madrid Penn White, Central High School, 1909.
Good evening. My name is Ruby Martinez, and I'm a senior here at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Madrid Penn White, class of 1909. White blazed a trail for thousands of women by helping found the nation's largest predominantly black sorority in 1913. In 1913, she was credited with conceiving the idea for a sorority that would focus on service and advancement of women instead of social activities. She chaired the committee that drafted the Constitution for Delta Sigma Theta, selected its signature Greek letters, and became its second president. As the organization's first activity, it became active in the women's suffrage movement in Washington. She later taught and worked as a journalist in both St. Louis and Cleveland before her death in 1967 at the age of 75. Accepting on behalf of Madrid Penn White is her sorority sister, Vanessa Warren, class of 1987.
I wasn't prepared to go first. I'm used to being the W, so we're always last, but I do thank you. I'm going to probably run off the speech protocol and looking into the audience because I do want to make sure I get through all of what I need to say. So I want to thank Central High School Hall of Fame, the committee, and all of you all for turning out tonight after a long day of work and all of the things you're responsible for. Being a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I know that she should be recognized in all things concerning excellence, strategic thinking, and things that impacted or impact the future. So let me give a brief overview. And I learned this from my history teacher, Caroline Valdrighi, who was here at Central. On November 10th, 1859, Omaha Central High School began as Omaha High School. On September the 22nd of 1862, Lincoln issued a preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, and on January 1st, 1863, he made it official that slaves within any state or designated part of a state in rebellion shall then, thenceforward and forever, be free. On December the 18th of 1865, the 13th Amendment was adopted and slavery was abolished. As we know it, Madrid Penn White graduated from Omaha Central High School in 1909 with honors, and she was also the recipient of scholarships from other colleges here in Nebraska. We don't know the exact date of her birth, but she had to be born between 1892 and 1893. So what does that mean? It means that she was born 27 years on the other side of slavery, as an African American with no rights. She graduated from Central High School 44 years after slavery ended. And what does that mean? With all of the accolades of all of the people who have graced these halls, we know that Madrid was a risk taker, a strategic thinker, and she had to be a dreamer because she's a Delta. She traversed from the Midwest to Washington, D.C. to attend Howard University at the age of 17 or 18. She didn't take a Southwest flight. She didn't ride in a luxury vehicle. She didn't have the latest gadgets or comforter for her dorm. She was a college-bound woman who wanted an education, but she had a dream. She knew she wanted to be someone. She knew she needed to change the world. She knew she needed to plant seeds to pour into generations to come. She risked her life traveling across a nation where some still viewed her as the enemy in shadow. I imagine that she traveled at night with no street lights or cell phone or the opportunity to check in with her family frequently.
She did not let fear or the unknown derail her. She did so because she wanted a different America. She wanted a different set of circumstances for the 300,000 women who have gone on to become the members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She didn't take the easy road to become a simple socialite. She didn't sit behind her husband and support in the shadows. She took it upon herself to aim high and to transcend her belief for centuries. She saw a greater gift, that she could lead this world by impacting one woman at a time, one community at a time, one life at a time, and one generation at a time. She knew that in all things, excellence is required. Hard work is a requisite, and risk sometimes has to be taken to make a change in this world. So in doing so, she was the first woman to hold an office in a student organization as an editor at Howard University for the campus paper. She was the publisher and president of the Triangle Press Company in St. Louis. In 1912, she conceived the idea of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And in 1913, she served as the president of the sorority. And this is what she left behind. She set an example for years to come. She allowed our sorority to induct members such as Alexa Kennedy, MD, the first Black neurosurgeon; Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman member of U.S. Congress and the first woman to run as a majority party candidate for the presidency of the United States; Frankie M. Freeman, attorney and the 14th national president of the sorority and the first woman appointed to the Civil Rights Commission by President Lyndon B. Johnson; Dorothy Height, who was appointed by President Carter to the Presidential Commission on the National Agenda and who served the National Council of Negro Women for more than 40 years. And as my time comes to a close, I would like my sorority sisters to stand up, to be recognized in her memory, to say thanks to her family, to let us all know that we are someone, that her dream is alive, and so are we. Thank you so much.
I don't normally do this, but I want to thank Vanessa for reminding me that in 1909 we were Omaha High School, the original high school. Thank you, Vanessa. Our next nominee is CM Nick Newman, Central High School, 1943.
And I'm a senior at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee CM Nick Newman, class of 1943. Newman proved a visionary in growing his family's grocery business into a regional industry leader, but his most lasting contributions came through his dedication to racial equality in Omaha. As president of Pinky Dinky, he transformed it from a chain of 30 small groceries into 45 modern supermarkets. He was one of the founders of Boys Club of Omaha and helped launch a new minority-owned community bank in North Omaha. His life was tragically cut short in 1973 at age 47 by cancer. Shortly before his death, he was awarded the Nebraska Urban League's first Whitney Young Memorial Award for his contributions to civil rights and equality. Accepting on behalf of Nick Newman is his brother, Bob Newman, class of 1946.
Thank you, Isabel. And thank you, Central High graduates and family members. It's a pleasure for me to come here and tell you a little bit about my brother Nick. We were 4 brothers. 3 of us graduated, all 4 of us graduated Central. My younger brother Murray is here in the crowd somewhere, and he and I decided that if anybody deserved this honor, it would be Nick. My other brother lives in San Francisco and was unable to be here. My Nick's widow, Raquel, who some of you know as Reki, was unable to make it. She lives in Palm Springs. As you can see or read from the announcement, from Isabel's announcement, excuse me, man. I recently had cataract surgery and need reading glasses. Nick took active roles in many organizations, both local and national. He generously supported charities. He also served the food industry in many leadership roles. There are more reasons he deserves this honor besides those. As an example, I describe his handling of a situation which stands out in my mind as typical of Nick. Many of you, or I think practically all of you, would remember that in 1965, a massive riot known as the Los Angeles Watts Riot shocked the nation. The Watts riot was not the culmination, was the culmination of less destructive riots occurring in black neighborhoods, including Omaha. Watts was by far the worst, resulting in 34 deaths, about 1,000 buildings destroyed, and at a cost of $40 million. That's 1965 dollars. About a year after Watts, the Black Panther Party was formed in Oakland, California. It was intended to be a political party with the purpose of improving life for black people. One of its goals was to increase black employment. In Omaha, the Black Party demanded companies employ 10% of the community, 10% of their employment be black people. The Black Party also organized citizen patrols of young black men, calling them Black Panthers. To emphasize the need for jobs, the young Black Panthers began entering retail stores and walking up and down the aisles. With Watts fresh in the minds of everybody, customers and employees were understandably frightened. Due to the good relationships with the black leaders in Omaha that Nick had established over the years, he had an indirect connection with the Black Panthers. His credibility was such that he was able to exercise influence through these leaders over the Black Panthers. He made the case that Hinky Dinky had substantially met the 10% employment demands, both at that time and in prior years. The upsetting Black Panther visits to our Hinky Dinky stores promptly ended. Mayor Sorensen Peter Kiewit of the Kiewit Companies, and other business leaders knew they had a problem in Omaha. They also knew of Nick's success. They saw his help in calming the black community. Nick agreed to meet with other business leaders and owners, managers, to encourage them to adopt fair hiring practices. He also developed sensitivity training for hinky-dinky store managers and invited other companies to take part. Consequently, unlike many other cities, Omaha was spared the nightmare of a Watts-type riot. This is only one example of the many things Nick did to make Omaha a better city. I wish he could have lived long enough to experience the appreciation being shown him here today. Thank you, everybody.
Our next inductee is Robert Holtz, Central High School, 1946.
My name is Terry Douglas, and I am a senior at Central High School. It is my honor to introduce inductee Robert Holtz, class of 1946. Holtz helped pave the way for integration of the U.S. Armed Services by serving with the famed Tuskegee Airmen during World War II. As the product of an integrated high school, Holtz was surprised to find when he enlisted in the Army in 1942 that white and black soldiers were segregated, with most black soldiers serving in non-combat support roles like truck driver. But Holtz was assigned to the all-black Tuskegee Air Corps, serving as a unit draftsman. Through the unit's decorated success, he and the other Tuskegee Airmen shot down planes that blacks were not fit for combat-related roles. Today, he is Nebraska's last surviving Tuskegee Airman. Accepting on behalf of Robert Holtz is General Randolph Scott.
I've been back up on the stage for a couple of years, and I graduated from here, and I remember having come to this auditorium a whole lot in my career. But Mr. Holtz is here. However, he has limited mobility, so I'm up here to accept. But let me tell you just a little bit about this great person. You know, he enlisted into the military because he had really showed Americanism and a pride in his country and wanted to serve his country. And he did so. But the other thing is that he had a real passion for this country. And when he went into the service, he was shocked. He graduated from Central High School and integrated school, but went into a segregated military, which left him kind of shell-shocked. If he was up here, he'd tell you that. But He has had a remarkable career and certainly a great impact on me in my military career. And so on behalf of Mr. Holtz, I want to thank all of you for being here and for the honor that he is going to receive. Thank you very much.
You don't get away. Our next inductee is Sharon Marvin, Central High School, 1954.
Hi, my name is and I'm a senior at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Sharon Marvin, class of 1954. Sharon Marvin has made volunteering for the betterment of the community her life's passion, serving some of Omaha's most significant civic institutions. The organization benefiting from her leadership have included the United Way of the Midlands, United Way of America, Josman Art Museum, Children's Hospital, Nebraska Public Television, World Herald Goodfellows, Junior League, Suzanne and Walter Scott Foundation, Millard Foundation, Omaha Community Foundation, and Salvation Army. Omaha philanthropist Walter Scott Jr. called Marvin's contributions to Omaha civic life nearly unmatched. Later in life, she also launched a successful career in real estate. Please join me in welcoming Sharon Marvin.
Thank you, Emil. I think you are my new best friend. That was very nice. Good evening and a very warm welcome to my family members, to dear friends, to the board of the foundation, to the alumni who continue to soar like eagles with their needed dedication and support. It is indeed with a humble heart that I accept this awesome invitation to be inducted into the 2019 Central High School Hall of Fame. How honored I am to stand in the footsteps of the business leaders sharing the honor this evening and the many who have preceded in carrying out this tradition, as it is never one thing or one person that creates progress, but a number merging together from various professions to create one perfect whole. I admire the deep and rich history of Central High School, the reputation earned for decades as the best for all youth in Omaha. The staff planted seeds for educational opportunities available and the importance of turning a philosophy into action for future lifetime success. 61 years ago, as a young, naive girl entering a building that once was the state capitol building, I was very frightened until I was greeted by a wonderful counselor, Josephine Frisbee. Also, the staff that was here was just terrific. And to mention a couple were Mr. Perry, the math teacher, Virginia McBride, the English speaker. All the staff were preparing us for an expanded foundation of what is possible in the journey ahead of business, music, speech, journalism. Our student newspaper, The Register, is the oldest continually published paper west of the Mississippi. The first issue was December 7, 1886, but in 2005 they won the National Pacemaker Award. This education was the beginning of opening many new avenues, wealth of experiences, and training. It only takes a few seconds down memory lane for a graduate to realize the tremendous influence Central High School education has on the development of all of the youth in our city. Your presence tonight is an example of education to emulate, so please join me in extending a grateful hand to each of you for your dedication to work toward the improvement of our city. I'm proud of all of you. Today is exceptional because I have the opportunity to join each of you, your goals that have been exemplary in the business as a real estate agent and a volunteer in our state. I was influenced by Einstein's message by trying to be helpful to others wherever needed. My graduating class was number 326, and this past year it was 439, and I know we have a new high school that will open in 2020. But our alma mater is able to set our school apart from others due to our generous foundation donors, changing the learning environment. An example of past things are the football field, the $20 million addition on the east side of the state-of-art digital library, the legacy walkway, which is visible from Dodge Street, and they still have pavers if you're interested. You can have one after your name, and always fundraising. Also, at this time, I'd just like to share with you a short cartoon from the New York Times. A young graduate with self-satisfied attitude suddenly met an old world person, and he said to her, "Well, who do we have the privilege of meeting?" And she replied very proudly, "Well, I am Virginia Smith, A.B. Well, my dear girl, come with me while I show you the rest of the world and the alphabet." Whether it is a cartoon or a Today Challenge quote, education and dedication are our world changers. In closing, I share a quote from Woodrow Wilson. The Constitution is not a mere glorious document. It is a vehicle of life, and its spirit is always the spirit of age. Learning and dedication are two life values to treasure. Thank you again for this prestigious honor. I will treasure it always.
Our next inductee is Eugene Speedy Zweiback, Central High School, 1955.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julio Dominguez, and I am a senior at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Dr. Eugene Speedy Zweiback, class of 1955. As one of Omaha's best-known general and vascular surgeons, Zweiback has mended many hearts and shown a big one outside the operating room through his charitable endeavors. After earning a medical degree from Columbia University and completing a fellowship under a world-renowned heart surgeon, he returned to Omaha to practice. He also served as president of the Metropolitan Omaha Medical Society and spent 3 decades as a surgical instructor at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. He has served on the boards of Special Olympics, University of Nebraska Internal Review Board, and the Jewish Community Center. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Speedy Zweiback.
Thank you, Julio. I would prefer not to talk about myself tonight. Julio said more than is necessary. What I would like to do is spend a few moments talking about Central High School and then a very special person. In 1854, Nebraska became a territory, and this was their so-called corporate building. In 1858, the second territorial capital was established. And again, this space was the home of it because the building, the Nebraska Statehood building, had not yet been completed. So that's how Central High became the capital of Nebraska. The name Central first came up in 1911. In 1926, my father graduated from Central, and 2 years later, my mother graduated from Central. And then my brother and I followed along, so the love of Central has been with us a long, long time. The other person that I would like to now mention is a principal that some of you know and some of you perhaps have never heard of, but it's J. Arthur Nelson. J. Arthur was my principal. Of course, we called him J. Arthur when he was not there. In his presence, it was always Mr. Nelson. And even the teachers never called him J. Arthur in his presence. But he was a very stern man, a strong man, and when I was either a freshman or a sophomore, he encouraged me to work hard and study hard and make something of myself. No one in my family had ever gone to college before my brother and I came along, so going to college was something very, very special. And after J. Arthur and my father got done with me, I went off to Princeton, then Columbia Medical School, and launched a career that has pleased me all my life. And I've always felt that J. Arthur had a great deal to do with that. As I look upon this group here tonight, and my fellow inductees, I am very, very honored to be chosen for this. I'm not sure exactly how deserving I am, but now that I've gotten it, once I get that plaque, I promise I'll never give it back. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
next inductee is Richard Spear, Central High School, 1958.
Senior at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Richard Spear, class of 1958. Spear established himself as an international expert in nuclear non-proliferation, playing a major role in preserving the peace during the nuclear age. He joined the Secretary of Defense under President Ronald Reagan to start the Office of Non-Proliferation Policy, working with 6 other governments to design, negotiate, and implement an international policy to hinder or spread missiles capable of delivering nuclear weapons. The Secretary of Defense awarded him a meritorious Civilian Service Medal in 1988, calling the policy of major and lasting significance. He continues to consult on national security for the RAND Corporation. Please join me in welcoming Richard Spear.
Thank you for bringing me into the Hall of Fame community. I'll feel honored to be glued to the wall. In my career, I've spent a lot of time, most of the time, working on science and technology. So let me tell you a story about science in Central High School in the 1950s. Some of my class of 1958 consisted of colleagues who were deeply interested in science. We had 2 wonderful teachers, Dwayne Perry in math and Roy Bush in chemistry and physics. We kept pushing these teachers to give us more challenging assignments. And in particular, we wanted Mr. Perry to give us a course in calculus, and we wanted Mr. Bush to order an instrument called a spectroscope, which is like a high-class prism. Now, this story has a villain. The villain was the Omaha public school system. They needed to approve any orders of equipment and any new course like calculus. And their answer to our requests were that these are for college, they're not for high school, and we in Omaha don't believe in progressive education. So the answers to our requests were no and no. Well, scientists are supposed to be creative. So we got our heads together with Mr. Bush and came to a realization. And what I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to tell in a soft voice because I don't want Dr. Bennett to hear it. This is just between you and me. It's our little secret. We came to the realization that while the Omaha public school system needed to approve purchases of equipment, they did not need to approve purchases of replacement parts. So for a period of weeks, we ordered replacement parts for a spectroscope. I would not be surprised if Central High School still has that marvelous spectroscope that we assembled. Unfortunately, we didn't have a similar scheme for the calculus course. But suddenly, everything changed. Tomorrow is October 4th, the 62nd anniversary of the day on which everything changed. On October 4th of 1957, the Soviet Union put a satellite into Earth orbit. The first time this had ever been done. And America went into a panic. We had fallen behind the Soviets. We absolutely must catch up with the Soviets. And the people who would do this catching up were scientists and engineers. Suddenly, the supervisor of the Omaha public school system took every opportunity to be seen with my colleagues and me. Suddenly, our calculus course was approved. Well, that was then, and this is now. A Central student now can get on the internet, can scroll through the course catalog, and discover that Central offers 6 different physics courses and 4 different calculus courses. For the class of 58, in the process of getting our science education, we also got some life lessons. So thank you, Central High School, for a real education.
Our next inductee is H. Bruce Bernstein, Central High School, 1961.
Bernstein, class of 1961. Bernstein has been recognized as an expert in finance and insolvency law during his more than 50-year legal career. The Harvard Law graduate helped grow the Chicago-based law firm of Sidley Austin from 140 attorneys to over 2,000 in 20 cities around the world. He has testified before Congress and participated in the drafting of the Federal Bankruptcy Code, the Uniform Commercial Code, and the Uniform Fraudulent Transfer Act, and has frequently written and lectured on the topics. For many years, Bernstein also served as the General Counsel of the Commercial Finance Association, an international trade association representing the lending industry. Please join me in welcoming Bruce Bernstein.
Thanks, William. This is not going to be a law lecture. Who knew back in 1960, when I began my senior year at Central, that I'd end up with a legal career? How did it happen? And how did Central play an important role? In the fall of 1960, my interests consisted of my friends, Central's tennis team, on which my best friend and I played doubles, and as a consequence of which I finally got my varsity O, and a beautiful white cardigan sweater to put the O on, and how to this day, do I wish I could find that sweater. I also was head over heels in love with a cheerleader in my class who had absolutely no interest in me whatsoever, far too cool for the likes of me. So I worried about what college would accept me, particularly after my painfully low PSAT score the preceding year. But on the exciting side, once that fall, I played no pads tackle football in Memorial Park with Dale Sayers, yes, that Dale Sayers, and frequently hung out at Tyner's after school eating a few curly-Q fries while hoping that the love of my life might show up for just a few minutes and notice my existence. I was not an avid reader, just an avid TV watcher and Cornhusker fan, and that is until I began Ed Clark's AP English class, and then it all seemed to change. Some sort of switch turned on in my brain when Mr. Clark began teaching us poetry and plays and novels, all the forms of literature that I hadn't really enjoyed before his class. Maybe, at least in part, this was due to the fact that several members of Clark's class, including me, were invited to his home a few times that year for poetry nights, where we sat in a circle, drank tea, and analyzed poems and other literature. What special evenings those were for all of us. Part of what excited me during those sessions was not so much the substantive message of the poetry itself, be that beauty or sadness or love or whatever, but rather the analytical processes we were being taught to apply in order to understand just what the poets were trying to say. I found that I very much enjoyed, and also was pretty good, the analysis part. And that stuck with me the next year as I began thinking about a college major. Now, what do you actually do with a talent for analysis? Two principal options seemed logical to me at the time, namely mathematics and humanities. I'd been a good student in Mr. Bush's physics class and a member of the math club. So I figured, what the hell? Let's become a math major. And when I arrived at Cornell University in the fall of 1961, that's what I signed up to be. How long did that brilliant decision last? About 6 weeks, when I received the lowest grade on the very first test in my differential equations class, and I learned just how smart real mathematicians actually are. So right after receiving that failing grade, I ran to my freshman class counselor and begged him to find a way for me to drop that class and get into another class, but one without numbers. So fortunately, it was early enough in the semester to allow me to get out of differential equations and into a humanities class, the topic of which I can't remember. But all I can remember is that I was much, much happier. And from there, my choice of majors was easy: English, not math. Then came literature class after literature class. Novels and all forms of literature that I hadn't enjoyed. Excuse me. I just sort of lost my place. Poetry, Shakespeare, novels, large dose of art history, all of which required paper after paper. Some of the papers were short, some long, but almost always focused on analysis of some aspect of the assigned work. And I constantly fell back on the grounding that I'd received from Mr. Clark and his class and self-confidence that was gained during those evening discussions and during his compelling classes. And it turned out that I did quite well as an English major and art history minor, but the obvious question, often asked by my father during my senior year, who was paying for my education, what are you going to do with that training if you don't want to teach, which at the time I did not want to do? My sarcastic response to my father was, well, I could become a professional cocktail party attendee and be an interesting and erudite guest. My father found absolutely no humor in that whatsoever and suggested I come up with a more economical plan. So I pondered my talents. And again, I came up with I'm good at the analysis of language. What careers require that? The law, yes, the law, and the rest is history. For all this, I can thank Central High, and I'm incredibly grateful for my education, and I'm incredibly honored and humbled to have been invited into Central's Hall of Fame, together with the other accomplished and talented inductees who are being honored this evening, and those who have been honored in the past. And one final thing. Today, October 3rd, would have been my sister Phyllis Glazer, Central Class of 58's 79th birthday. I know that many of her very close friends and family are here tonight, and I know how much she would have loved sharing this evening with us all. We miss her very much. I thank you very, very much. I'm humbled by this honor. Thank you.
Our next inductee is John Hughes, Central High School, 1965.
He got his first taste of newspapers with the Central High Register. After obtaining a law degree at Yale, he combined his love of the law and newspapers by becoming a media law specialist for a Washington, D.C. law firm. That work included advising the Post during its Watergate investigation. He later went on to work directly for the Post, overseeing part of its operations. He then set out on his own, publishing a newspaper in New Hampshire. He continues to serve as the chairman of the chain of newspapers in his adopted home state. Please join me in welcoming John Kittens.
Thank you for that kind introduction, and thank you to the foundation for this award. My family has had a relationship with Central High School for over a century. In 1858, my great-grandfather, Henry Wilkie Coons, arrived in Omaha and served on a 6-person school board in 1871 that set up Omaha High School in its own building near here. Omaha High School that year had 47 students in its class. The school flourished, and at the turn of the century, Omaha High School was relocated to this building, but it was completed, and a few years later became Omaha Central High School. My father graduated from Omaha Central High School in 1918. We have long generations in my family. He then went on to Harvard University and Harvard Law School, and returned to Omaha, where he became a very successful lawyer, representing numerous corporations, including the World Herald, Central States Insurance Company, Omaha Steel, Omaha Cardinals, and numerous others. I always thought he had a good chance of becoming a distinguished alumni of his class, the class of 1918, but for the misfortune of having a lad in his class whose name happened to be Peter Hewitt. Then after that, my brother graduated from Central in 1960, and I graduated in 1965. Central prepared me well for my future life. It gave me an outstanding education, a really, really fun high school experience, and some wonderful lifelong friends. After Central, when I got to Stanford, people said frequently to me, watch out for the preppies. they've had a far better secondary education than you have. But that proved not to be the case. The prep school education turned out not to be superior to Miss Billings' Latin class, where I learned information that helped me in further courses in ancient history and English and in other foreign languages. The prep school education was no better than Mr. Simpson's English class, where we spent weeks dissecting the Fairy Queen. Although I have to admit, I didn't really appreciate that experience at the time. I could go on and on. And the other remarkable thing is how much the teachers cared about their students. About 20 years after I graduated, my father passed away, and Miss Pilling showed up at his service, even though I had no contact with her for 20 years. When my brother and I went to chat with her after the service, she told us that she came simply because she wanted to say hello to us and check up on us and see how we were doing. Now that's dedication. Often the best way to learn about an institution is to make a surprise visit. One day, some years ago, my wife Janet and I flew to Omaha for a few days, and as we were driving from Epping Airfield up Dodge Street, I said to her, "Do you want to see Central?" as we passed it. I said this spontaneously. And although she was somewhat sick of hearing of the glories of Central over the years, she politely said yes. And so we parked the car, went in, talked our way past a very kind security guard, and started wandering the halls. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. The school was closed for the day. Janet was blown away, and not just by the beauty of the place, but by what happened while we were here. At virtually all the public schools Janet and I knew, teachers rushed home at the end of the day when the last class ended. But here we were between 3 and 4 in the halls of Central, and teachers walked up to us to start chatting with us about their courses and what they were working on. Some teachers wanted to take us into their classes to show us what the students were doing. Other teachers wanted to make sure they answered every single question we had. In that very brief visit of 30 minutes, we learned what makes Central so great. Teachers who love their jobs and who care so much about their students. And for that, I thank Central. I really, much as I appreciate this award tonight, I think it's Central who deserves all of the awards for the thousands of students it has helped over the years. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Bruce Crow, Central High School, 1971.
My name is Nigel McPherson III, and I'm a senior at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Bruce Crow, class of 1971. During a long career in engineering research and education, Crow established himself as an expert in the design and applications of computer control systems and helped bring graduate-level education to Africa. As a professor of electrical engineering at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, he conducted groundbreaking research in smart grid technology, mobile robots, semiconductor manufacturing, automotive powertrains, and aircraft flight control systems. As a final act in his career, Crow moved to Rwanda to become founding director at Carnegie Mellon University, Africa. seeing the engineering program produce its first graduates in that nation. Please join me in welcoming Bruce Grove.
Thank you. I'd like to start by just recognizing and thanking a few people. First of all, my wife Margie, who has been my enthusiastic partner and companion for the last 43 years, especially in our international adventures. I'm also very pleased that all four of my brothers and sisters are here tonight. My older brother and sister, Mark and Linda, who live here in Omaha, and my younger Canadian sister from Alberta, Canada, and my younger brother from Chicago. All five of us, of course, are proud Central High graduates. I also want to thank my parents. We're sorry that our father can't be with us here tonight, but he was always such a proud supporter of his children and enjoyed everything that they accomplished. But I am happy that this evening my mother is with us tonight, Lottie Lee Richards Crow, a Central High graduate from the class of 1941. She made sure that all of us knew long before we became students here that Central is a very special place. It was suggested that I might say a few things about what Central meant to my life and my career, and immediately three things came to mind. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is the exceptional education. It's Central that introduced me to the love of learning in all areas, and it was because of the dedication of teachers like Mr. Keenan in English and Ms. Pratt in mathematics. But I also learned at Central that what I got out of classes had a lot more to do, or at least as much to do, with who was sitting next to me as who was in front of the room. And in particular, I learned that I had peers who were a lot smarter than I am. I didn't look at the slides, but I think you saw four of them up there. And this was an invaluable lesson for someone pursuing an academic career. It made the difference between just having the joy and pleasure of working with brilliant colleagues rather than having frustration and bitterness at the unmatchable competition. The thing that I experienced that probably was most relevant and had most impact and influence on the 6 years that we lived and worked in Africa is that Central was the place where I was first introduced to the wonderful breadth and variety of thoughts and ideas and worldviews that come from our different backgrounds and life experiences and socioeconomic situations. And this started a lifelong education, in fact, that there are a lot of different ways to think about and to approach all of the issues and opportunities and challenges that we have in the world. And I learned that in most situations, it's probably best to empower people and give them the freedom to find their own solutions for that next best thing forward for them. In conclusion, I want to thank the Foundation for this honor, and I also want to especially thank it for all the work it's been doing to make sure that the current generation and future generations to come will experience all the wonderful things that we've been hearing about Central High School. Thank you.
inductee tonight is Zon McLaren, Central High School, 1986.
McLaren has earned accolades during a 3-decade Hollywood acting career, often playing roles reflective of his Native American heritage. He credits longtime Central drama teacher Peggy Stallings for helping infect him with the acting bug. In Los Angeles, he got his first break in 2005, playing Running Fox in the Golden Globe-nominated Into the West. He played Chief Matthias in the long-running Netflix Western crime drama Longmire, and earned acclaim from the New York Times and Wall Street Journal in 2015 for his scene-stealing role as Hansi Dent in FX's Fargo. He has amassed 70 credits in an acting career that continues today. Please join me in welcoming Zon McLaren.
Tokiaku Magia Api Ilamia. Let's just thank you very much in Wakota, my language. I want to say good evening to everybody. I want to thank both the Central High School Alumni Association and the Central Foundation Board for inducting me into the Central Hall of Fame. It's truly an honor, and this microphone is working very well.
We need some replacement.
There we go.
That's what's fighting us.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. I'll use my acting voice. Again, it's truly an honor to be inducted. I think you got it. Thank you. We have it. Thank you. You know, it's truly an honor to be included with this impressive group of inductees. Wow, the accomplishments that you've all had in your lifetime, I honestly don't feel very worthy up here, to be honest with you. You guys are amazing. I want to congratulate all of you. You know, this honor, it holds an additional significance for me as the first American Indian to be inducted into the Central High School. And, you know, I wouldn't be here without the support of my mom, my brothers, and my friend Joe Craig and Kim Craig. Told you, Joe, I was going to start crying up here. You know, it's ironic that I pursued a career in acting because public speaking obviously makes me very nervous and uncomfortable. In acting, we have scripts. We can memorize the scripts, and there's somebody else's words that I can talk. But I do want to say thank you, Joe, for helping me write some ideas down on this piece of paper. I love you very much. Central High was known for its
It's excellent in athletics, academics, and the arts. I was excited to learn that I would be transferred to Central High School from Bernstein, or from Tech, a school with such amazing reputation to actually finish and graduate from. And, you know, when I came up to sign up for classes, I thought, well, what's an easy credit? Drama class. This is going to be easy. Little did I know. Peggy Thomas, the drama teacher, or Peggy Jorgensen now, was anything but easy. I was terrified of doing any of the acting exercises, and I remember Mrs. Thomas kind of pushing me and saying, you can do it and stuff, but I was absolutely terrified, mostly because, you know, I was just worried for the other kids to actually see who I was. You know, in our teenage years, we don't have a lot of self-confidence. We're going through quite a bit of that age. And I was really worried about the other kids seeing actually who I was. I was a little bit ashamed, to be honest with you. But I did, Peggy, Miss Thomas sparked something inside of me that I hadn't actually seen before. I watched those other kids perform and do these exercises, and it actually, again, sparked something inside me where I looked at these other students and I thought to myself, you know, I could do that. And I think I could be good at it. And again, that's what sparked me to move on and pursue an acting career. Central High was a cornerstone, very much so in the pursuit of my goals. Not just in the acting career, but also there was a few people that actually supported me emotionally, psychologically, when I was at this school. There was a woman named Jerry First. I don't know if anybody remembers Jerry, but Jerry instilled the confidence in me. She helped me start a group here for young people that were struggling with addiction. And we had actually Dr. Muller okayed us to have a support group to do that. And I was very grateful for that support. All of this propelled me forward in my life, and again, Central fostered self-worth in me and confidence in me. And the mere fact that I was able to graduate from this prestigious and esteemed Central High School, it empowered me, and it gave me the self-confidence to realize I could just do about anything I wanted to do. And I thank you, Central High School, for that. Thank you.
Could I get the house lights up, please? Would the 2019 Hall of Fame inductees please stand? And to recognize the student ambassadors. Would you guys stand up as well? So, wow. It has been a very special night. And I know there's a lot of individuals that I didn't get thanked. I want to make sure that I recognize everybody who didn't, JROTC, the Strive Kids, everybody, thank you for making this such a special night. Would also like to let the Hall of Fame inductees know we are going to have a class photo. And we're going to ask you to come up onto the stage, and at that time we'll take that picture. And Mr. Holtz, we're going to get you worked out as well, because we want you in that picture. So do not go anywhere. You'll get to talk to everybody after the photo, okay? I don't want to be assigning detentions. Okay? I already got to order replacement parts. So, at this time, I would like to say we are now concluded with our Hall of Fame activities. You may have some facilities at this level. Thank you so much for coming. Drive safely and we look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you.